everyone, this is Chelsea. Welcome to another Creative Friday. And today I'm back in my Dilutions journal and I have a couple new things that I want to play with. These aren't all brand new out on the market, but they're new to me. I have a Prima stencil, and then I'm also going to be using this new set, which I just got yesterday, I believe. My local art store was having a big sale, and I picked up a few goodies. So these are Bombay India inks, and I'll show you a little bit later what I'm going to do with those. First off, I'm going to grab my Versamark ink pad. This is just a clear sticky ink, and you can use the plain one. This is the Dazzle pad. That's just the one that I pulled out of the drawer first. Doesn't have to be that one. So what I'm going to do is just take the pad and press it right through the stencil. I'm going to try and get this as good as I can, but some of these little areas are pretty thin, so if it's not perfect, that's alright. I'm just trying to get most of it with the ink. I do have an embossing dauber, but I think it would be too runny to try and do on here. The hardest thing I find after you use embossing ink on a stencil is getting it off the stencil, so I'll probably have to take this out to the sink and use some soapy water to try and get it off. So hopefully I'm getting all these words. I'm really pressing down on the stencil too to make sure that it's not shifting around too much, because I don't want all my words and everything to be blurry. And because it's clear, it's really hard to see if I have everything inked or not. So I'm just kind of hoping that I'm pressing hard enough, and I'm working right across the two pages, so that might throw me off a little bit right where those pages meet. Okay, I'll take that off. I'm just going to tilt it and look at it in the light here. From what I can see, it doesn't look too bad. And then I'm going to grab my white embossing powder. You could use clear here too, but I'm just going to use white. Okay, well, I have all of this heat embossed. You can just kind of see it there. And I ended up putting another flower and some more of that kind of pebbly texture over on this page just to fill up the whole background. Because I think I'm going to keep this page really simple. I'm just going to do a simple emboss resist. And so I wanted all of my imagery already on here. I don't think I'm going to add too much over top other than some color. You could also do this if you don't have Versamark or embossing powder, or you're not familiar with embossing. You could also do this with gel medium, or I think gesso would look really cool for kind of a tone-on-tone look. And you could also do this with different colors of embossing. There's lots of different ways you could do it. So here I'm just grabbing my big wheel of India inks, and I think I'm gonna stay on the cool side. These are my favorite colors, the purples, blues, greens, teals, that kind of thing. So I have a feeling this can get really messy. So I have some paper towel here, and I'm just going to pop it under these pages to help protect the other pages. You will notice I have bleed through in the center here. The Dilutions journal, if bleed through bothers you, probably isn't a good journal for you, because it does bleed through quite a bit through the center. So, and these, I believe these are transparent inks, so it's probably not going to hide the bit of paint that I do have kind of around the edges and in the middle, but I think I'll be okay with that. So I'm going to start out just covering my page with water. This is plain water. I want the inks to move a bit, and I didn't want to gesso first, so actually maybe what I should do is get all of these open. haven't opened any of them yet, so they're kind of very airtight. You can see even the tops are squeezed in. So I'm opening them very carefully. I think I'll use those 4 colors. The other green is kind of a yellow green, so that water's kind of sunk in. I'm just gonna add some more water. Why not? We'll see what happens. Ooh, I like that. That's pretty. So I'm just adding color. Now probably if I want this to stay on the surface a little bit better, I should have gessoed first, but I didn't, because I can see it sinking into the paper already. I'm just gonna add some more water, get it flowing around. Pick up my book, let it run. I'm gonna add some more ink to this. Getting a lot of air bubbles in there. And then I'm just going to add more water on top of that. So you do want to move fairly quickly because these inks will sink into the paper. It's not primed or anything. So I'm just tipping it up here, trying to get that flowing everywhere. And I think I'll tip it up and spray at the same time, just to help lighten it, because I do have a lot of ink on there. Oh, I love how that's looking though. And I can always go in afterwards with a paintbrush to kind of help spread the color where I want it to go. Yeah, see? It bleeds right through the signatures. So that's something to keep in mind about the Dylusions journal. Does work great though. I'm just going around and patting any of the big puddles and also on top of any of the embossing. I just want to kind of pat it dry for now. I'm probably going to come back to it in a little bit. You can see my totally soaked paper towel down here. Okay, I'm just going to go on to the opposite page here. Same thing. Give it a very good coat of water. And then I'm just going to start throwing my ink colors on here. Oh, that's beautiful. So obviously I was a little bit more organized this time and had my paper wet enough. You can see anywhere where there's not enough water, it just sits there. So don't be shy with the water. Because I love that wicking and the spreading. It looks really cool. Try not to soak it too much in that middle part, but I do want it to move over onto this other side, because otherwise I'm gonna have a very blank kind of middle here. See, now on this one I don't even really need to dump because it was, I had enough water on there, so it was puddling really nice. I'm just gonna keep adding color. Try and get any of those areas that don't have any color on them yet. And some more water. So basically I'm just playing. I don't have a plan. I'm just kind of playing around, seeing what's going to happen. I haven't used these inks very much before, so It's fun just to play and see how they react. They are supposed to be permanent when dry, so that's good. I'm just going to go around and pat off again on the embossed area. And any big puddles. That writing came out not too bad actually in the middle. I'm impressed. I thought it would look a little bit harder to read than it is, so that's good to see. I'm going to dry this a little bit and then decide if I want to add anything else to it. So I will be right back. My pages are not 100% dry yet, but they are quite a bit drier than they were. I added so much water that I can, my paper kind of feels fragile, like it's going to fall apart. You can see here the embossing is starting to come through to the back. Like paper is really, maybe I added a little bit too much water, but I'm not done yet because this side turned out not as pretty as this side. I love how blended, and this is a little bit bolder on the side. This side looks a little bit more washed out because I added more water, and I obviously didn't have enough water down before I started puddling the inks on. So I don't know. I'm going to try and add a little bit more ink on this side. I might just totally ruin it, but we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. See, this side just does not want to puddle. It's kind of frustrating. Whereas the other page, when I sprayed it, and I'm not sure if that has to do with the paint that's on the back side of this paper, so it's keeping the water from going through. I'm not too sure. But there we go. There's a little bit of seeping. I just don't want any really harsh puddles. I want it to look blended. I almost feel like I need to go over this with a paintbrush or something to get it all into the areas that I want it to. There. That's looking better. I'm just going to lift some of this off so it's not like way darker than the other side. Oh, I'm just gonna, might have to add some more on the other side too, just to even it out. Now I'm getting dark. But that does look better. I do like that much better. Alright, I'll throw a little bit more over on this side. Why not? I'm hoping my paper's gonna hold together. I've added so much water on here. It's not even funny. Oh, gotta remember to squeeze when I put that in there. Just gonna tip this down, let that run. Add a little bit more here in the center. Now the nice thing is, by using colors that all go together, I'm not having to worry about if they mix or, you know, if I'm going to be getting mud or whatever. Because I know all these colors will go together really well. And that's why I didn't throw in this bright green, because it has more yellow in it. It's kind of a yellowy green. So I stuck with the cooler colors. Okay, I'm going to pull out my super saturated paper towel. Probably should have changed that one too. Oh yeah. I got transfer all over the place. Oh well. Just gonna wipe up here and then dry this and finish it off. There's not too much more that I want to add to it, so it should be a quick one today. My page is not 100% dry, but it's dry enough to touch and to finish it off. So I love how it looks. I love these colors, and I love how streaky and kind of blended the colors look. So I'm just going to add some Distress ink in Walnut Stain, and I'm just going to go around the edges. I know this is kind of a really simple page today, but that's kind of all I really wanted to do. I don't think there's a need to make everything complicated or lots of steps, especially if that's not what you're feeling like. I just wanted to get some ink on the page, wanted to play with my new inks. I really like them. The colors are super vibrant. They're permanent, so once this dries into the page, if I wanted to add something over top, that would be fine. It wouldn't pull the color up. So something like dilutions, they're not permanent. They will re-wet every time, and you can always go back and rework them. These, once they're in that paper, they're permanent. I would like to try this on a gessoed page maybe, and just see how the inks roll off. I'm guessing you would have a little bit more working time, because with the paper being so absorbent, it was kind of hard to get the colors to mix and puddle kind of like I wanted to. The second page, as you saw, was a little bit easier. I'm just going to take this in here in a couple of areas, kind of darken it up. Paper's so wet, it's pilling a little bit. So there we go. I think that's gonna kind of be my finished page for today. I'm really happy with how that turned out. I really like those inks. So you can check them out. They're Bombay India ink. Dr. P.H. Martin's is the brand. And this set that I have here is a 12 pack, but I know they have other colors than that. That's just the set that I got. So I'll give you a little close up here so you can see the colors. Just a nice, simple, beautiful page, flat. There's no dimension to it, so that's always nice. I'm gonna let this sit here and air dry. I don't want to completely dry it with the heat tool because I might remelt some of this embossing powder, so I'm just gonna let it sit and air dry. Thanks for stopping by today and watching my video. If you want to see more stuff that I have going on, you can visit my Facebook page, which is Personal Touch Scrapbooking, and then also my website, which is personaltouchscrapbooking.com. I have an online class over there, and I'm in the process of working on another online class for you guys, so that you can find that under the online class tab. And yes, my blog has been a little neglected lately. By lately, I mean like the month and a half. I need to get back into some regular posts. So hopefully that will happen in the next couple weeks or so. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next Friday.